So here's one of the things that I really want to talk about is putting together a good sales funnel, landing page, something that is going to help your clients want to download the app. Now, I don't know if the chamber, can you add pages to your website, or are you on a fixed amount of pages that you can have? Okay. Excuse me. This should be a dedicated page without a doubt. And what you want to do is there's really 4 steps, well, technically 5 steps of a good page that you want to kind of walk people through. And you've seen these yourself. You have definitely seen funnel pages, and you just may not realize that that's what they're called. So don't get all scared about the funnel page, the landing page, but these are things that you want to do to kind of help them actually download the app, or, yes, the action is to download the app. So one of the biggest things you want is awareness. You want, like, right in the beginning, when somebody opens up this page, you want to be able to catch their attention and make them aware that your app even exists. But to have a spot to have the awareness will kind of grab in a sentence or two what your app is all about. Okay. Then each one of these steps is going to take them closer to taking action. After they've done the awareness, now you got to give them interest. What is it that they're interested about? You want to give them something that is going to be like, I have to learn more about that. I want to really do this. And during that next step is then the decision to go ahead and make that. And then the action. The action is to download. Now, here's the thing. When you're talking with any audience whatsoever, and the fifth step is to keep in touch, right? When you're working with any audience whatsoever, you have to realize that everybody is different. So somebody, right when the awareness hits, they could be looking at what's next app and say, oh my gosh, I need that right now. Boom. Or they could do it when they're in the interest area. Be like, okay, well, that was pretty good. I think I want to do that. Boom. When they're in the decision area, you want to make that evident. So the point is, you want to have these action buttons, these call to action buttons throughout the entire app, throughout your landing page. Now, if you haven't launched your app yet, these action buttons should be to get people to be on your email list, so you can notify them as soon as your app is ready to go. Okay. And that's a whole nother discussion that we'll get down to here in just a little bit. But during this, you want to have these buttons available. Let me see here if I can find one of my favorites here, and I will share my screen. And I know I've shown these before. Let's see here. E-driven. E-driven score. Okay, so when you look at E-driven score, and let me share my screen here. A couple of wonderful things that LeVar has going on here. First of all, right away, boom. This just so you all know, this is an app for kids to be, or people to be able to keep track of scores and stats for athletes. And it's actually done in an environment where LeVar here actually has people go out to the different games and do the entries in. So you can share this with grandma and grandpa to see where the kids are for Little League, everything from Little League all the way up through the college career and potentially beyond, but there's so many out there for professional careers that you don't need it. But as you can see here with his E-driven score, he has this very nice, boom, What is it that this does? And then he did a nice little video that is actually LeVar himself, explaining what the app does immediately, and having a nice little video here. And they could just be the couple of clips, that could be something that is very detailed, like his, I believe, is 2 minutes. Now, everybody's time in digestion is different. So it's up to you how long you think your audience can listen to you before you know that they're going to flip off of it, right? So right away, he's got what he does, has the story, and boom, right there's the action button. Okay. Now he deals with kids a lot, so he's got his action buttons doing all kinds of goofy stuff. But, that's up to your audience. What is it that you can do? Then as you go down further, he talks a little bit more. So now we're getting into the interest. So first we had the awareness. And if you wanted to take action, boom, you could take action. Then next, you have the awareness. Why is it that you want to do this? Because there's lost stats, abandoned stats, etc. And then again, join the revolution right there. And now you want to get them into a decision, become part of it. Boom, right there. And that's his action. Okay. And he even takes it all the way down to the bottom in case somebody who has to read every single thing. Again, you're hitting all kinds of audiences here. You're hitting the audience that makes a fast decision right away. Then they can get the app. You have somebody who needs a little bit more information. Goes down further. Now I've made my decision, and now I'm ready to take my action. Okay. So these are part of what you want to do. Now, in this case, these do take you out to the stores, or at least it gives you the links to tell you how to get it out on the stores, because this is an active app right now. But if you were to be trying to get emails, for example, so now you don't have your app live yet, you want to be able to capture emails. And that's the other thing too. If your app is live and people are still not quite sure, you can add a little piece onto this landing page to ask for their email and to either give them something, or to say, you want to join our newsletter. Or people don't like to join newsletters so much anymore because they're so overrun. You have to think about your own habits. And when you look at your own habits, you will then be able to to treat your customers the same way, right? Nobody always wants to have a lot of newsletters, but they might want to know your app is coming soon. All right. And then that's a whole nother process. But in the beginning, right now, you might want to just say, be notified, be one of the first to be notified, right? So that you can then take them into an entire nurture sequence. But you want to make it on brand. I mean, it's awesome. And no, he's not a Green Bay Packer fan, but he did use Green Bay's colors, so that makes it good. But he does love his green and gold. And so he's actually a Dallas fan. That's a whole nother story. But but as you can come through, it's a color that will relate to people. It's his branding colors. It's what he does, right? So like the chambers would be the green colors. When you are doing this now, you want to nurture people. So that's the next part. If they currently have your app on their phone, now you have to get into this entire sequence of being able to get them to keep coming back. So you want to be able to have push notices on a regular basis. You want to keep them engaged. Okay. You want to be able to say, hey, my app is here. Now, not too much. I have to say More For You does a wonderful job on that, because it's about once a week, maybe twice a week at most. Okay. Now we do have another app that's that we're working on called Act Now. And Jana was on a couple of weeks ago. Hers is a little different because it appeals to actors and finding gigs. She's almost doing one every single day to remind people to check the app because you have to see what acting gigs are out there because that changes all the time. So it's, again, it's who's your audience? What is it that they need to do to take action? If you're collecting names, now you want to send out an email every couple of weeks. You don't want to do it too often until you know you're getting ready for them to launch. Now you want to start prepping, okay? But remember, it takes 21 days to form a habit. So when the people do have their app on their phone, it takes 21 days for them to go to it on a regular basis, right? I've gotten into the habit now when I'm local, I go into the More For You app, no matter where I go, to find out if somebody's offering something. Or if I can't figure out where to go to have coffee with somebody, now that we can go back out and about and see people, instead of just going to your standard, Starbucks, which nothing against Starbucks, but instead of doing that, I want to support the local people. I'll go in and take a look and it's like, oh yeah, Corner Bakery, or, oh yeah, this, whatever the spot is, right? So you want to be able to remind people that it's there so they form that 21-day habit. But here is the most critical part of any landing page. You have to measure your results. You have to be able to have either Google Analytics or some other form of analytics that are on there. Are you capturing the attention of people? Do you exhibit trust? So when the people come, do they feel they can trust you? Do they feel they know you? Because at the end of the day, we do business with people we know, like, and trust. That's business 101, know, like, and trust. So do they know enough about you that they're coming to your page? Do they trust you? And then, of course, they're just going to like you. So that always happens. But you want to find out what your analytics are on this. What's your bounce rate? How long are people spending on your page? And if you're not sure, well, then run some A/B testing. Actually have two separate pages up there with a little bit different. But what you do is you advertise one versus the other in different ways. And that's the other thing. Any wonderful sales page can be as fantastic as possible, but if you don't tell people that it's there, it's not going to help. And so the entire app or the entire landing page, you have to tell people who's out there. Why are you there? And if you can, get some third-party testimonials. Sorry, lost the word for a minute. Third party saying, yes, this is fantastic. And that can be in written form or video form. But believe it or not, we will believe strangers when they say something is great better than we will our family and friends, because we just don't always know. But think about your own habits. When's the last time you bought something on Amazon? Probably last night. But when you were looking for something, do you read the reviews? You do, right? And if you're buying, say, a lamp on Amazon, now you can't see the lamp other than in pictures, maybe a little video, but it's not like you're sitting there at the store where you can touch it and try it and whatnot. Now you go down to the reviews and you look, and that particular lamp only has an average of 2.5 stars. You're going to bolt. You're going to be like, oh, what's wrong? Or even if it has 5.5 stars, you're going to read and you're going to be like, oh, but this one says that, it shorts out, or that the bulb didn't last long, or, whatever, to make your decision. But then again, you might read these other fantastic reviews where, there's 10 reviews and only one person had a problem with it. And all the other 9 are like, oh my gosh, this is great. It's flexible. It's not too bright. It, lights up my desk, whatever. Now you're going to take action because 9 out of 10 people said it was wonderful. So if you can get some of those testimonials on your page, that would help. Now, Janae, I get it. You don't have an app out there yet. You don't have testimonials, but you can. What you can do is you can talk to people who have told you that your app idea is fantastic. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what we've been needing. I've seen, some of the prototype, or just to even say, this is exactly it. When I heard about this, I want to be the first in line when it comes live. Okay. And you can use testimonials without having people say that they've already downloaded your app. You can do that. And anytime you get people to say that, whether it's a quick little video or if it's detailed, where it's a handwritten one, people will jump on that. And you can pepper your testimonials throughout your page. That was the one thing LeVar was missing, was testimonials, to be able to say how wonderful this is. But to get people to take action, they want to see that. And then you take those testimonials and you share them out on social media. Hear what Judy Murphy is saying about the More For You app. Hear what Miranda is saying about the What's Next app. And to get people engaged in that respect, because people have, what's it called? FOMO, fear of missing out. And when they hear others are doing it, they want to be part of it. And really, a sales funnel page or a landing page is a lot more than just having a single button saying download my app. However, it doesn't have to be overly complicated. You don't have to overthink it. But the beauty of analytics is being able to make the changes and doing the testing, and testing can be just as simple as viewing it from here, a button over on the left. Okay, that didn't convert as well as putting the button on the right. Maybe the buttons were down too far. We got to move them up. Maybe they were too flashy, and to take a look to see how people are actually reacting. And the biggest thing is, what's your bounce rate? And what a bounce rate is, how long people stay on your page and did they click anything? And that's the key that you want to look at. If people are coming to your page and they're only staying for like 3 or 5 seconds, they're not there long enough to grab. Then you have to ask yourself, why? Are the images loading? Is there too much information? Is your call to action not clear enough? Was there any question on the page that I showed you for eDriven Score that you needed to join the revolution? Did anybody question the call to action at all? Right. Because there was only one call to action. And that gets back to the story brand, which I know we've talked about in detail, and how to present that. So even your landing page has to have the 3 key components. It's got to have the hero, your customer. It's got to have the villain. What are they trying to avoid? What pain are they trying to avoid? And it has to display you as the guide. And you are the authority. And that gets back to the trusting. So the know, like, and trust still comes into play. And those 3 key components have to be part of your page and have it laid out. If you look at it, that's exactly what LeVar's did, where he had, boom, here's your problem. And he showed up as the guide. And then it was, here's the villain, losing scores, losing stats. And then he came in again as the guide. Come join us. I want to help you. So he outlined the problem, he outlined, the fact that we understand you're our hero. We want to help you. Followed by the villain, followed by the guide. And that's all you have to do. And don't be afraid to make changes. Once it's set, it doesn't have to be set. It can be changes, and don't get too wordy. People do not have time to read. Oh my gosh, I was on a sales funnel page the other day, and this thing went on and on and on. And all I wanted to know was how much it cost. Now, in everybody's here, it's a free app.
The landing page.
Yeah.
So the landing page that's on the website, or is this on the this the website, right?
It's the website. It's the place you want to take all your social people to be able to get them to make a decision to download your app. And the reason why you want to do that is because in the stores, especially Google, there's so many apps out there. There's just as many on Apple, but they're a little different on how they put things in. If people just generically search for you when you're first starting out, they won't find you. Think of it like SEO for your website.
Mhm.
Until you've built up a following, Google doesn't recognize it as easily. So if you give them the link to go straight out to the store, Google sees that, and that helps you. And having your links everywhere around Google's, their little spider crawls, whatever they're called, they see that and they're like, oh, wow, okay, this is something that needs our attention. And then it helps raise you up on the stores.